Alright, welcome back everybody. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work, and this morning we'll be looking at Catholic High School Prelim 2024 paper. Okay, we'll start with some grammar questions first. Okay, good morning Jack Sai. Alright, let's take a look at question 1 first. Alright, the award was given to Su Neo, that the committee recognized as an outstanding leader in the community. So over here, we are interested in relative pronouns. Now, some of you may be asking, what are relative pronouns? Now, relative pronouns are basically these words that will replace a certain noun or pronoun. Okay, noun or pronouns refer to things like your animals, your human, Tom, Mary, so on so forth. All right. So when we have relative pronoun questions, the first thing we observe is the verb. This is your action word, and we need to see who is engaging in this verb, which is a committee. The committee is recognizing him. They are doing some action to give him the award. Now, who is the recipient of this action? Here, Suno. Okay, so this is the object of the sentence. So we need a relative pronoun in the object form, which means our answer would be number 3. Okay, because whom is an object form for relative pronouns. Now, looking at the other options, who here is in the subject form, which is used for non-humans, and whose is in the possessive form. All right. This is a very straightforward question and is usually tested in exams. All right, so subject form means you replace the subject of the sentence. Simple example. My brother, who won the competition, is playing chess now. So you can see won here is my verb and brother here is my subject because he engaged in the action to clinch the award. Then you can see who here is in the subject form to replace brother. All right. Next, the last thing I want to talk about is possessive form. This possessive form is used to show some kind of ownership. Okay, look at this sentence. The dog whose toy was missing went around searching in the house. So you can see the toy here is owned by the dog. And such, there is this what we call some kind of ownership there, and we try to highlight this fact. That's why we use possessive form. All right, it's a very straightforward question. Okay, let's take a look at question 2. You've met her before, dash. She was the guest speaker at the conference last year. So over here, we are interested in question tag. Now, the keyword is you've. This stands for you have. Okay, so this is positive connotation. At the back here will be negative connotation, which means the answer is number 4, haven't. Alright, let's move on to question 3. The lineup of vintage cars, as well as a selection of classic motorcycles, dash on display at the auto show last week. Okay, this is a very common subject verb agreement question. Now we observe one keyword here, line up. Actually singular. Only one line up. Next, last weekend. This is in the past tense. So you can see past tense, singular, there's only one answer. Number 3, was. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at question 4. The teacher saw her pupils dash and innovate until they developed an effective solution for the issue. So first thing we observe is saw. This is verb 1. Next, we can see this underlined part is verb 2. Okay, as such, we can apply the verbs of perception rule, which means that when I have two verbs, the second verb needs to be in the base form. Now, what is the base form? Base form means present tense and plural, which means my answer is only number 1. Okay. Now, looking at the other options to help us for our learning. Number 2 is present tense and singular. Collaborate is past tense, and collaborating is continuous form. Okay, continuous form is used to show that the action is ongoing as you speak. Okay, moving on to question 5. There's the bustling city. A street musician played a soulful melody on his guitar. Okay, we're interested in prepositions here. Prepositions are basically your words to convey a certain meaning of the object in terms of its height, its relationship with other subjects, and its positions. Okay. Now we look at this first word, bustling city, and what is he doing when there is a lot of traffic and a lot of people doing a lot of things. The musician played a melody, some song. Okay, so looking at the options, amid, this means that you are surrounded by something. Over conveys height. Okay, so let's say my airplane flies over the building, it shows a certain level of height. Hello, Fang Sai, good morning. Now, third one is among. Among means that you are with people or things. Okay, lastly, we have besides, which means in addition to something. Okay, so for this case here, our answer would be number 1, amid, because you're looking at how the busyness, the traffic and everything is all around the musician as he plays his song. Alright, and with that, we have come to the end of our first 5 questions. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information here. If you need me to zoom into any questions, do sound out, and we'll move on shortly. Alright, moving on, let's take a look at our next 5 questions of grammar. Okay, so the first question 6 here. The playful kitten, despite its curious nature, has dash interest in a new toy. So over here, we're interested in determinants. The first thing we observe is despite, which shows a kind of contrast to the blank. Therefore, because when someone is curious, it means that you probably will have a lot of interest in stuff. But despite means that probably the kitten didn't have any interest. Okay, so over here, it will be of a low quantity. Next thing observe is interest, which is uncountable. So in this case here, low quantity, uncountable, the answer is number 3. It has little interest. Yes, very good, Fang Sai. Now let's take a look at the other options as well. Much here is uncountable. He put in much effort in his homework. Okay, next, little, as mentioned, is uncountable. Few is countable. There are a few pens in my drawer. Okay, any here doesn't it shows that there is no specific quantity. I need is anybody able to provide any help? You see, so I'm not interested in the quantity. I'm just looking at whether there is anyone. So any quantity would suffice. Okay, looking at question 7. Neither of the siblings dash the enrichment lesson every Monday. Okay, first thing we observe is neither, which means 0. Therefore, we will use a singular. We will consider it a singular subject. Next is every Monday, which suggests a habit, and therefore we use present tense. Okay, so singular present tense, we only have one answer, which is number 3, a tense. Neither is singular, okay, Fang Sai, therefore the answer is number 3. Okay, so looking at our options, the first one, are attending. This is in present continuous tense. Okay, so this means that my action is ongoing as I speak. Now, second, has attended. Has attended here is present perfect. This means that my action is completed, but my effect is still felt. So let me give you an example. I have read the news and want to know more. So the action of flipping the newspaper is already completed, but the urge to the curiosity to research more about certain news topics is still ongoing, and therefore that's the effect that's still being felt. Okay, attend and attend both are in present tense, just that attend is plural and attends with the s is singular. Okay, I think for our friend Fang Sai, the question that you are looking at is this one. Neither John nor his siblings every Monday. Okay, so in this case here, we will use the rule of proximity, which means siblings would ensure that the blank would be attend. All right. If you can see here. Okay, so our friend Fang Sai, please don't mix this up with the current question. All right. Okay, moving on to question 8. He was in need dash a warm jacket as the temperature dropped at night. Okay, So over here, we're interested in prepositions. Now, the first thing we observe is the need. That means he requires something. And we go on further to talk about what he requires, which is warm jacket. Okay. Now, looking at the options, the first one is in, which shows a position. I am in the house. That tells people where I am located at. Off here shows the relationship between two subjects. For means that you are in support of something. And with shows something is complementary. Okay. So in this case here, when we are trying to show the need, and what's the need is a particular clothing. Right, so we are trying to show this relationship between these two ideas, the clothing as well as the requirement of the author. So our answer here would be number 2. All right, shall we move on to question 9 now? Wei Ling is one of the numerous students who dash up for the science fair every year. Okay, so for this question here, we're interested in tenses. And the first thing we observe is numerous students, which is a plural subject. In addition, every year tells me it is a habit, and therefore it must be in present tense. So plural and present tense means that there's only one answer, which is number 1, sign. Signs here is present tense as well, but singular. Next, we have was and were signing. These two are in the same tense, which is the past continuous tense. This signifies that my action was continuing sometime in the past. So for example, the children were eating dinner yesterday evening. So this idea is very general. My children were eating dinner, but it's not really, I only say it's yesterday evening, so I never specify is it 6 p.m., 9 p.m. or 11 p.m. Okay, so this is for a very general idea, general action, we will use past continuous tense. All right. Okay, moving on, let's take a look at question 10. Having dashed the school song, the pupils made their ways back to the classrooms. Okay, so over here you can see that made here is in past tense. So we are looking at this action which occurred first. This action 1, then action 2. Okay, so I always draw a timeline when there are two different actions that are occurring at the same time. Okay, so the pupils made their way back to class. So you can see action 1 must have occurred first before going back to class occurs. As such, I need to use the participle form, which is number 3, having sung the school song. The pupils make their ways back to the classrooms. Sing is present, sang is past tense, and had sung here is past perfect, which shows that one action occurred before second one took place. Now, some of you may be asking, then why don't we use this for here? Well, the answer is very straightforward. We cannot have having, had, sung. Having cannot go together with had. Okay? So we will not be interested in past perfect. Okay, but we want to show still want to show this idea, one action, that this action of singing is completed. My action is completed first before I move on to the going back to the classroom. Okay, so to show this, we need to use number 3. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information here before we move on to our vocabulary section. And as usual, if you have questions, do feel free to sound out. All right, moving on, let's take a look at some vocabulary questions. 11. The baby cried dash throughout the night, keeping everyone awake. Okay, so you can see the keyword is throughout the night, which means the action was going on for a very long time. Now looking at the options, first one is permanently. Permanently here means in a way that remains unchanged. So for example, the statue would be placed here permanently. That means they will not move it anymore. The sculpture will be fixed at a particular location. Next, incessantly. Here means something is done without interruption or constantly. Thirdly, eventually means in the end, or we are referring to after a long delay. Fourthly, when we talk about suddenly, we are looking at something that happened very quickly and unexpectedly. It means something that you did not anticipate. So you can see that the action was ongoing throughout the night. It means that it was constant. So our answer here will be number 2. Alright, looking at question 12 now. Every year, Mrs. Ong's organic vegetable garden dash a bountiful crop She makes a lot of money from the sale of vegetables. Okay, so for this question here, we are looking at a crop. So it's something that she can sell and she can make a lot of money. So we're looking at something that can allow profits, right? Now looking at the options, reap here means you gather crop. So it's this idea that you are collecting your harvest. Next one, use means that you can produce something positive. Something STH, positive. Positive is this one. Especially profits. That means money. Now, number 3, obtain. Obtain means that you acquire something. I obtain my trading cards. That means I managed to get something. While achieve means you successfully reach objective. Okay, so this objective can include things like your goals, your aim of a certain activity. Alright, so you can see we look at bountiful crop that can make money. The closest option that we have is number 2, when you yield something. Alright, let's take a look at question 13. The marathon training program requires daily workouts to prepare runners for the race. Now you can see that the workout training program is for marathon training. Therefore, the kind of workout, it must be very, very tiring. Now looking at the options. The first one is severe. Severe means something undesirable. It's very intense. Alright. Now, rigorous here means something is very difficult due to high level. Stringent means the requirements are strict. And lastly, exhaustive means you consider all aspects. Okay, because we are looking at how the daily workouts here may be very physically strenuous, it means that there's a high level of difficulty. Therefore, our answer would be number 2. Okay, some of you may be asking, how about stringent? Stringent means very, very strict requirements, right? Now, see, when you have the word stringent, it usually goes with the words requirements or selection process. Okay, so we are looking more at before they can enter a certain program, what are some of the baseline things they need to achieve first. Okay, therefore, this is not what we are looking at for the answer here. Okay, let's take a look at question 14. The flowers in the garden dash a sweet fragrance, attracting many bees and butterflies. So the idea is sweet fragrance. So looking at the options, the first one is give in, which means that you finally agree to something. After refusing initially. When you give up, it means you stop trying. Give off means you produce a smell. While give away means that you give something to somebody without asking for payment. Okay, so the fragrance is here is referring to a smell. So the closest answer is number 3. You give off the thing. Okay. Now let's take a look at question 15. After weeks of hard work, the students were eager to dash their success at the year-end party. So the idea is you're trying to like have the taste of their success. Okay, it's not a literal taste, but you're trying to enjoy the results that you have attained because of your hard work. Right? So looking at the options, the first one that we have is frolic. Frolic means that you play. Revel means you enjoy oneself through song and dance. When you savor something, it means you enjoy something fully. Celebrate means you acknowledge a happy day. Acknowledge an occasion with activity and gathering. Okay, so in this case here, when we look at how you need to, the problem is the word success is here. So you cannot say you revel in success. You can revel, that you enjoy oneself at the end of party. Yes, correct. But over here you can see there's the word success. So you need to use this verb here to interact with my success. Okay, so the closest answer we have is to savor that success. That means you enjoy the fruits of your labor. All right. So we have come to the end of this vocabulary section. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information first before we move on to our next part. Okay, excuse me. Okay, come, let's move on to our next section, which is vocabulary clues. So what will happen will be as follows. I'll read through the text with you, and we'll understand the words that are underlined. Thereafter, we'll choose our correct options. Okay, so we are talking about our national sprinter, Shanti Pereira, and how she has become a household name in Singapore. So household name here means you are a famous person many people know of. And she was lauded for outstanding performance after 49 years at last year's Asian Games. The 28-year-old track and field athlete, often referred to as Singapore's sprint queen, clinched her first gold medal in the women's 200-meter race and silver in the 100-meter race at the Asian Games. So referred to here, it means that you talk or write about someone. In a few words. So the few words is towards sprint queen. Okay, that means she's like the running like a champion in the track and field running segment. Right. Now, clinch here means that you finally get or win something. Okay, so we are told that the journey wasn't easy, and that the most difficult time of her career was when she suffered a hamstring injury in 2018 that derailed her training. So derailed here means that you prevent a plan or some kind of process from succeeding. As such, she could not progress beyond the Asian Games heats that year. The next few years were a struggle for Pereira, but she remained determined. So struggle means some kind of forceful effort to break from restraints. So these restraints may be physical ones, for example, um, some kind of financial difficulty. It also can be a mental kind of limits. So, for example, you have self-limiting thoughts, you have low self-esteem. There's also some kind of restraints that prevents you from doing well or doing something beyond your comfort zone. All right. Now let's take a look at the options. So for question 16 here, we are referring to Shanti Pereira being a household name. That means a very famous person that a lot of people have heard of and know who is she. So looking at the options, the first one is a new athlete. New means someone is recently introduced. So you can see or you can infer. For new athlete, people probably don't know them so well. Unfamiliar figure means someone is not known by people. While well known here is the opposite. It means that you are recognized by many. Okay, and lastly, experienced athlete. Experience means that you just have the knowledge or skill. So it doesn't mean that you are famous. Okay, so very good. Our friend Fang Sai, the answer here will be number 3. Somebody is well known. Okay, let's take a look at question 17. 17 here is referred to, which means you talk about or you write about someone in a few words. So looking at our options, the first one is recorded, which means that you keep information for future use. So for example, I want to keep the information of my class or my lesson, so I record notes down. All right. Now, next one is regard. Regard means you consider in a particular way. imagine means something that is untrue, even though something is untrue, you believe it you believe it to exist. So for example, I can tell you that someone is trying to imagine himself flying in the sky, right? Something that cannot be done, but you think that it is possible. Imagination, right? Lastly, understood here means that you know the meaning of something. Okay, so for this question here, we talk about how you talk about someone in a few words. The closest answer is you consider the person in a particular way. Okay, because the few words will show your thought process and how you perceive the person. Okay, so very good, Fang Sai. The answer here is number 2. All right, let's take a look at question number 18 now. She clinched the gold medal. Clinch, that means you finally get or win something. So looking at the options here, the first one is one, which means they will achieve a prize in a competition. Retain means to continue to have something. Next one is awarded, which means you give a prize to someone. This one is very important. Is in recognition of something. Okay. And lastly, when you say that someone deserves, that means you rightfully earn it due to something done. All right. So for in this case here, when we talk about how she managed to achieve something or clinch something, that means you finally get to win something. The idea or the closest answer is number 1, when you achieve the prize. Okay. Now, why the others don't work is because when you retain something, it means that you already have achieved it. That's the assumption. That's why you continue to keep the title. So this is not correct. When you are awarded something, it means that you recognize the person. Okay, so it's different from you win something. When you win something, it's based on purely on the competition. You did your best and your performance was better than other people. That's why you can get a prize. But when you are awarded something, it means that you are some third party, some evaluator is trying to see whether you can be awarded the prize, whether you deserve to be recognized. Okay, so there's the element that win will not have, and deserve also has this idea that somebody is looking and watching your performance before giving you the prize. Okay, so both of these will not be correct. Now let's take a look at question 19. So we look at how something is derailed, which means that you prevent a plan from being executed. The other meaning of derail refers to how the train, right, when it's on tracks, then suddenly it derailed, that means it's not on the tracks anymore. Okay, so looking at our options at question 19, the first one is crippled. Crippled means you severely damage something. So for example, the power electric shortage crippled the airport operation. So without electricity, the airplane cannot take off, right? Next one is block. Block means you obstruct or you make something difficult. When you disrupt something, it means that you interrupt an activity. While when you prevent something, that means something cannot happen. All right. So for this case here, we are looking at how Shanti's training plan could not be carried out because of injury. So the closest option that we have here would be you disrupt. That means you are trying to interrupt. That is, you need to she needs to put a stop to her training because of the injury. Okay. Lastly, question 20 is the word struggle, which means that you're trying to put in a lot of effort in order to break free from some kind of limitation. Okay, first option here is fight, which means that you put in a lot of effort to defeat something. Okay, so there's this idea that you are trying to overpower somebody else. When you talk about challenge, it means that there is a lot of great mental and physical effort to overcome something. So you're trying to like break free from certain limitation. Obstacle is something that blocks one's way of success or hinders the success. Okay, while disturbance means interruption to peaceful condition. So you are preventing some sort of something from being carried out smoothly. Okay, so for this case here, when we talk about how she was trying her best, she put in a lot of effort to break free from the restraints. Right, the closest answer that we have would be number 2. When it was a challenge, because of this aspect of overcoming something. All right. And with that, we have come to the end of this section of our vocabulary clause. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information here before we move on further. If you'd like me to zoom in on certain questions or you have certain clarifications you want to make, do sound out in the comment section. Okay. All right. There are no further questions. Let's take a look at some grammar close questions now. Okay. Many people enjoy catching sunsets. Not dash are the not dash are they beautiful to look at, but they also provide us with an insight. Dash the world of light and colors. Okay, so you can see, but they also. Then here is not dash. Okay, so this is a common conjunction phrase. Not only but also. Okay, so we are looking at additional information, right? In this case here, they're talking about the benefits or um, the 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 reasons why we should look at sunsets. Okay, now let's take a look further. We are looking at how they provide us with an insight, and what's this insight? Here, they elaborate here that we are actually learning about the world of light and colors. So when you want to delve, that means you want to research more, okay, into these two topics on light and color, we'll say it provides the insight into. Okay, so we are like moving deeper and deeper down in this topic to learn more. Okay, different colors have different wavelengths, and the stunning array of colors seen during sunset dash caused by process called scattering. So we are looking at one stunning array, one array. So this is a singular subject. Okay, so we'll say the stunning array is caused by a process. Now, how do we know it's present tense? Which occurs, has. Okay, so these two words already tell you it is present tense. So these two criteria points you to only one answer. Okay, it's caused by this. Now, moving on, we look at how red light has long wavelengths, dash blue light has short wavelengths. So you can see that these two are contrasting ideas, one long, one short. So, but you see, even though they are contrasting, both of these wavelengths coexist together, right? You have blue and red light in all around you. So we'll call this, we'll use the word wow to show that despite the contrast, they coexist together, okay, like concurrently. Blue light is more scattered than other colors of light because of dash wavelength. So we are looking at just one particular thing, non-human, right? Blue light itself, singular subject here. So will be due to its shorter wavelength. So during sunset, the sun is lower in the sky. Sunlight passes through more of Earth's atmosphere to reach us. This causes blue light dash its shorter wavelength to scatter more. So you can see the blue light has this certain characteristic, shorter wavelength. So this is like the shorter wavelength is like owned by the blue light, is part of the blue light's characteristic. So we'll say with, okay, to show how they are complementary, how they are together. Okay, so they make the red, and this makes red and yellow, which is more prominent, and it creates a breathtaking display of warm colors. However, colors can be attract, affected dash factors. So you can see dust particles, haze. These are your causes or your sources which would affect the light color. So we will use the preposition here, by, okay, to show that haze and dust particles will cause certain things to happen. Dash particles can scatter sunlight differently. So we are now referring to these two um, factors, right? So it is plural, and we are trying to point them. So we are looking at the article. So So we'll say for question 36, these. Okay, they can scatter sunlight and cause the sky to appear grayish or white, dash the day, and affecting the colors visible during sunset. So you can see the day here is an event, it's a period of time. Okay, it's a period of time where there is light, there is sun. So in order to show that the sky can appear grayish or white during this particular period of time, we use during. Okay, so we are saying that there is this range from what time to what time the sky can have different colors. That's all. And lastly, we talk about how volcanic eruptions can affect the colors of sunsets. And this is because they can see large amounts. And once these large amounts, it further elaborates that it is dust. So to show this elaboration and how these two subjects exist together, large quantity as well as what's the large quantity about? Dust, right? We will use the preposition of to show this relationship. Okay, and with that, we have come to the end of this what's this called, grammar close. I'll just give everyone a minute or so to take in the information and to have a breather. All right. If there are no further questions, we will move on further to editing. Okay, the text reads, there was a bustling hive of activity in the shopping mall. Jared stood in line, his patient wearing dash as he waited to lay hands on the limited edition watch he has been eyeing for weeks. Okay, for this question here, we're looking at how um, the patient was wearing, and we're just looking at the adjective to describe how the patient was wearing out. Let me see, he was getting more and more annoyed, right? So you'll always be wearing thin. Thinner here is comparative. And when you have comparative words, there needs to be some basis for comparison. Okay, but there is, so you need at least two items or two subjects to compare with. For example, the skin of a certain fruit is thinner than something else, maybe another second fruit. All right. As the clock ticked, Jared fidgeted, his impatience growing with each dash minute. So you can see the time is ongoing and is continuous. That means the time will continue to move. So it will be passing minute. The watch he longed for gleamed in the display window. Its attraction almost tangible. Tangible means you can feel, you can touch. Something is physically present. Okay, this spelling error. Surrounding him were fellow enthusiasts with their faces a mix of excitement and anxiety. So enthusiast is spelled this way. So enthusiast, you are just referring to those people who likes a certain thing, like as a hobby. Okay, the next is excitement. Excitement is also a spelling error. And anxiety. Like Jared, they were all they all vied for a chance to own this masterpiece. So you can see this action is ongoing. They're trying to fight, like not literally fighting, but they're all trying their best to secure their to own this watch, right? So we'll say they are vying. Okay, so it's not a spelling error, there's such a word, which means like they're trying to fight. Anticipation filled the air as the cute snake its way through the busy mall. So anticipation is a spelling error once again. Jared checks his watch for the upteen time. So this is another spelling error. So please take note how to spell. Minutes dragging like hours. His heart raced as he neared the front line. The price dash reach yet still so far away. So you can see the reach here means that he's able to take something. So able to buy the watch. Okay, so we are looking at that proximity. So that means who is this? Jared is very near to the counter or near to the location where the watch is located. We are looking at proximity. But in here shows a location or a position. So instead of using in, the correct preposition to use is within. That means he's very near. He can like stretch his arm out and take the watch already, right? Finally, after dash seemed like an eternity. So we are looking at a particular activity, right? The wait for the watch. So as such, it will be what seemed like eternity. Okay, he stepped into the store with bated breath. He made his purchase. The watch was now his to cherish and admire. So admire is spelled this way, spelling error. As he walked away, he was dashed to be the proud owner of the watch. The wait proved, you can see this is past tense. So it will be he was thrilled with the ed. All right, and yes, this is our text. Pretty straightforward text with a few spelling mistakes which are more tricky, which are slightly trickier. Okay, but if not, I think this is a very doable text. Okay, I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information first before we move on. All right. Now, if there are no further questions, we can move on. Now, let's take a look at this text. So, this text is regarding skin. We all know the feeling. We get a strange tingly sensation on our skin when we feel a cool breeze or dash a spooky sound. Okay, first thing that we observe is sound. Spooky sound here is something that how do you receive the sound? It's through hearing. So you hear a sound. Okay, you also see is feel. So we just keep it to the same form. Okay, that's goosebumps. There are small bumps that dash the skin of chicken after the feathers have been plucked. So you can see the bumps on your skin definitely cannot be found in chickens, right? Because we are different species. So we are looking at how they are similar to those on the chicken. So we'll say that resemble. But have you ever dashed what exactly makes your skin get all bumpy? So you can see this is a question. So when they start with have you ever, you are trying to ask you whether you have thought about it before. So it will be have you ever wonder? Okay. Do goosebumps dash a purpose? So you can see goosebumps here is plural. So you'll say have a purpose, or do goosebumps serve a purpose? Also makes sense. Okay, so under our skin, there are millions of tiny muscles. Each of them dash connected to. So you can see each here, it must be very careful because this tells you it is singular. So each of them, you will say, is connected to each hair on the skin surface. Dash with you cold, these muscles tighten. So you can see this is a particular scenario or particular event. Only if we feel cold, then something will happen, which is the muscles tighten. So we will say when we feel cold. Okay. The contraction causes our hair to dash up straight, resulting in goosebumps popping out of our skin. So you can see the hair would be straightened. So we will say the thing will cause the hair will stand up straight. Okay, because your hair is like it's like the fur of the animal is just when it's at a relaxed position, it's like is from your paws, it's just it's just in all different directions. Okay. So based on the evolutionary theory, some scientists believe that goosebumps may have been dashed down from apes. So when we talk about evolution theory, it means like we are looking at how our ancestors and the species lived or survived last time and how their body was like. So we will say that they have been passed down from apes. Because of the word evolutionary, and also not forgetting this is a phrasal verb to say that this action is ongoing from someone senior to someone junior. Okay, they were covered in thick fur and tiny muscles under the skin were much stronger. This meant that when goosebumps caused their fur to stand on dash, a warm layer of air would be trapped next to their skin. So okay, this one is a bit more challenging. Stand on this. You are looking at how all the hair stands up straight. So we are looking at this, but in a slightly different way of phrasing. So you'll be stand on end. Okay, a warm layer of air will be trapped next to their skin, and this thick hair coat therefore serve as an insulation, dash them from the wind and cold. So you can see the insulation here keeps you warm, and this would therefore prevent the wind and the cold from affecting you. So we'll say protecting. Okay. In dash to keep them warm, some animals use goosebumps as a survival tactics. Okay, for question 61 here, you can see that goosebumps serve additional purpose. So it's like there's more than one use. So we'll say in addition to keeping the animal warm, they can use it as survival tactic when dashed with danger. So you can see danger here is a noun. Okay, so we need a verb to go with it. So what can you do with danger? It's likely when you encounter danger. So we say when faced with danger. Okay. That prevents them for fight or flight reaction. That means either you escape from the prey or the predator, or you go and fight it out with the predator. Okay, so during such an event, the hormone called adrenaline is released and they will contract the skin muscles. So you can see this is a particular example. So another word for example is for instance. Okay, when the cat is feeling threatened by a dog, the elevated head together, this is arched back, makes it bigger. So you can see the elevated head and the arched back, these two things come together to protect the cat, or it's part of the cat's survival mechanism. So this over here is a preposition to show how this elevated head and arched back are complementary. So we'll say with. Okay. Similarly, we may also experience an adrenaline rush when we stand on a podium to receive an award or watching horror movies. This often dash in goosebumps. So you can see a physical reaction. This is an effect, and the cause is here when you are doing such actions. So we'll say this often results. Okay, this here is also singular. Therefore, we have results, which is the singular form. All right, and with that, we are done with our comprehension close here. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information before we move on to our synthesis and transformation. All right. Moving on, let's take a look at our synthesis and transformation. Are you aware that our neighbor's dog underwent a surgery recently? So over here, this is a direct question, and direct speech, we need to change it to indirect speech. So mother asked me if, okay, see, first thing is question marks, then it will be if or whether. Okay, so are you aware? It will be if or whether I will change to was aware that our neighbor's dog had undergone a surgery recently. Okay, so I was aware that our neighbor's dog had undergone a surgery recently. Okay, this novel was chosen by Janet for her book review. So over here, this is an active, and we need to change to passive voice. Okay, so see, by Janet, so this Janet will be the subject. So you can see Janet chose this novel for her book review. Okay, so when you can see this, sorry, when there's a by here, so this is passive to active, tombalik, the other way around. Okay, when you have passive to active, you need to move forward by one time period. So you can see chosen here is participle form. Now we have chose here, which is past tense. Okay, this is the opposite from question 66. Question 66, you are moving back one time period. Keep moving back. Now, question 67, you are moving forward. That's why you can see. Are you aware? Move back one time period. I was aware. Underwent is changed to had undergone. Okay, so please be very clear. You need to identify what the question, like which tense is it from, and is it active, passive? And this one you need to ask yourself, is it direct to indirect or vice versa? Okay, so these two things are very important. Next, my grandparents prefer visiting local attractions to traveling overseas. So it will be, my grandparents have a preference for, okay, visiting local attractions over traveling overseas. Okay, so to here because of prefer, but you have preference, it will be over. Next, on account of Sam's, you can see suddenly, now we're going to change it to an adjective. Describe the illness as sudden. Ill here will be illness. He missed the meeting. Okay, lastly, Ramu stared at the computer screen. He could not believe it. So over here, believe is a verb, is an action. Now we will say he could not, that means in disbelief. Okay, so the front part will still be the same. Okay, and with that, we have come to the end of our synthesis and transformation, as well as the whole paper for P6 Prelim Catholic High. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me this morning on our Writers at Work TikTok session. Okay, the next TikTok live for Primary 6 will be at 2:30 p.m. So if you are available, then do join me as we go through another 2024 paper. And for friends who have who know of others in secondary school, do encourage them to log on at 12:20. We'll be looking at O-level paper 2 today. Okay, with that, I'll see you everybody around. Bye bye.